right before I started this, it was Sophia or Sophie with fever. I've been following Caitlin Clark and Sophie, all that madness. I've been following it. I was actually a really big fan of Caitlin Clark. I still am. I just don't follow it as closely as I did. But I picked up on things a couple of years ago when she first made it into the WNBA, and it just, I respect Caitlin. I know she goes through a lot. Kudos, and kudos to Sophie for having her back. Seriously, and doing what needs to be done, Like, everybody needs a friend like that, straight up, especially on the court. When you play in the game, we live in a world that likes to play games. So it's nice to have that. I'm glad that she does. That said, man, I've had a lot come to me here in the last, few hours. And something came to me in reference to intuition and discernment. I think a lot of people get a little bit misconstrued on that. Like, your intuition and discernment can be wrong. Your gut feeling can be wrong. A lot of the time, sometimes it is. I've had to wake up to that. Very much so, actually. And it's kind of a wake-up call to me, and that's when I learned to flow with things. When I just can't make sense of certain things that I know to be real, to be transpiring, for sure. And I pick up on things, but I can't quite articulate what it is happening around me. So when I find myself in scenarios like that, I just kind of whoa. I'm like, all right, divine God, you got this. And just kind of let it flow. Because it happens a lot. It does indeed. And I've seen it very much in Charlie Kirk's investigation, where people claim something and then later on down the road it's different. And their intuition and their gut, it was wrong. Because you just don't know the true reality behind the illusions that we all face. We all face illusions. We do. There's nobody on this world that doesn't face illusions. No matter where you're at, no matter what handlers you have, no matter who you are, what kind of limelight you're in, we all face the same thing. We literally mirror each other. It's so comical to me that I find that we're literally competing with one another, but we're literally facing the same exact thing. It's comical to me. And then to think that they're not winning at that point when we're silently competing with one another, when we're facing the exact same things and we're being used against each other, right? And at that point, you need to recognize that your intuition and your discernment is off. It's off because you haven't heard the full story. You haven't heard people's full testimony. You don't know the full background of things. Everything in this world can be manipulated, populated, and misconstrued and narrated in different ways. It just can. That's the world that we've landed in. It's just the truth. It's the reality. Just look at Charlie Kirk. It just is. You can't turn the page on that. The reality is true, right? And so often enough, I see people run on their intuition and discernment, but they can't quite gravitate to accepting that they were wrong because they didn't know the full scope of things. And they didn't know the choices people were provided. And that runs alongside with me. That runs alongside with Candace. Just so many different prefaces within this. Trump. I mean, so many. But they create that world to where you get so confused within the reality. You don't know what is true and what is fake. And that's why it's designed that way. It truly is to make you question yourself. But there are times when your intuition and discernment is wrong. Believe me, I'll be the first to tell you. There's so many times that mine has been wrong, very wrong. I'm like, I love Sean Ryan because he likes to cuss. He just says what and my girlfriend, when I was over at her house the other day, she's like, curse words are like sentence enhancers. I'm here for it. I'm a little sailor. I got a sailor's mouth. I do indeed. I know when to turn it off and turn it on. When I'm in the business sphere, I won't throw out cuss words. I won't. I have a good turn off and turn on switch. But when I'm solo dolo, I'm a sailor. because it releases certain things. Because I get fluffered and I get pissed off. I get pissed off a lot. Thankfully, I'm learning to tame my mouth when I'm in, contact and physical contact with people. But when I'm by myself, Lord knows, I know they hear a lot, no doubt. And I want them to. I say things that I want them to hear. And I don't say things that I do not want them to hear. I'm not dumb. I know a lot of people like to, do all these things, and that's fine. Keep doing it. I'm here for it. Do whatever it is makes you happy. But at the end of the day, I'm going to keep doing me as well. That makes me happy. But something that came to me so often enough, I see, and it is good to have a healthy relationship. All right. Let me preface this on this. Healthy relationship with being confident, but not crossing over to conceited with the words that come out of your mouth. All right. So often enough, I see people dance on that level, on being confident and conceited. Like, it's important to know your faith, your spirituality, the blessings that God has given you. It's important to know those things. Absolutely. But it is also important to know how to articulate certain things. Articulate certain things where you're not chastising certain people because you have no idea the way that the words are going to be received. For example, when you are blessed with a beautiful family, a beautiful marriage, beautiful kids, and, the dream of a life that a lot of people pray for and may never have. They may never get that. They may never achieve that. But you were blessed to have that, right? So you have to be very, very careful when you say certain things out into this world, how it can be received, right? To be blessed with a perfect family, perfect kids, all these different things, right? You have to think about how that's received to people that haven't been blessed with a perfect family, a perfect marriage, a perfect kids. I mean, do those even exist? But I mean, seeing as they do sometimes. So it's like you have to be very, very careful because that's where the humility and the humbleness comes into play, that duality, right? Because you're sending a message without even understanding that you are in some ways to those that bring kids in a broken home, that maybe not have perfect kids, that may not be like perfectly great. They might have mental issues. They might have a lot of different issues. You have no idea. And there is so much brokenness in this world. There is so much trauma in this world. But I see so many people in power with substantial amount of followings just throw out words and throw out like broad ranges of things and just not understand the reality that is the truth, because you have no idea. You have no idea. I have no idea. Right? And that's why I'm so methodical when it comes to certain ways that I deliver messages. At least I try to be. I know I fall short all the time. All the time. I know I do. I know I do. But it's just, it's so hard. I come from a broken reality, from a broken family. I come from parents that were raised in unique scenarios. And I got pregnant in a unique scenario, but God blessed me with my son. But then my son was raised in a broken home. And I was broken while I raised him. Based off, not to mention what was happening around me, right? But the reality is, who am I to throw out such words with such strong meanings? Because I understand what broken families and broken homes and not perfect children look like. But they're just as great as families that are perfect. Families that have perfect children, right? And so you just have to be very mindful of the way that you say things. Because there's so much brokenness within this world. And a lot of your audience runs alongside brokenness that come from broken families. They just do. It's just the reality of it. And sometimes they're not going to be able to achieve what it is you've achieved. And so you have to find